So, I was actually reading your thesis last night, and the bit that caught my attention was the dedication to your daughter, Selena, where it said, may video games open up new worlds for her as they did for me. So could you tell us something about your personal journey into gaming? Like, what new worlds did it open up for you?
Well, I think that video games, like any form of media, open up new interests and new ways of seeing things. I think every game is based on a topic. There's always content knowledge involved there, and people can learn different things through playing video games, so it opens new avenues of knowledge. And then not only that, but playing a video game will perhaps push people into wanting to know more about certain things. That will involve reading books, watching documentaries, going on the internet, researching. So games are just a starting point to a much wider space of knowledge.
Okay, cool, okay. And then I was looking on your blog, Swan Station, and it seems that your interest is interactive fiction, and you said that this is most ideally suited to language education. So can you just briefly explain what interactive fiction is and why is it suited?
Okay, well, interactive fiction is actually the oldest form of commercial computer game. The first one was released in 1975, and I think it's the most suited for language learning for the simple fact that it's completely text-based. There's no graphics. And to be able to play it, you need to interact directly with the language, in English and French and Spanish and German. And I've been playing these games for over 30 years, and I always knew that they were used for language learning, but only recently, in the last couple of years, did I actually start doing some research, and I've come to the conclusion that they're just so ideal because there's no level of graphics there to take away from direct language interaction.
Okay.
And what it is, it's basically, it's non-linear storytelling. It's you interact with a story, you're a character in the story, and you basically give commands to the character in that story, and you need to interact with a world to push the narrative forward. So it's a story in which you can influence the way it's told.
Okay, great. And can you give us some examples of projects you've been working on? You said in the last 2 years.
Well, it all started with my my master's degree. I started looking into how I could effectively use it in the classroom. So I started doing some work with that and playing with different interactions between students, different tasks, pre, during, and post. But I've come to the conclusion that it actually works best as a form of autonomous learning, and that's probably where I think that video games best fit in the educational landscape as autonomous learning tools.
Yeah, I think we've seen that with our student plenaries.
Yeah, they find that they're not getting what they need in the classroom, and I think video games give them that possibility for fluency outside of the classroom.
Okay, great. So my next thing is, I'm sure that when you kind of say to some teachers, okay, this is a development session for interactive fiction or using gaming in the classroom, you might get some interesting reactions.
Of course, it's difficult. Why? Because people automatically think that games are not serious. Okay, and possibly, given the history of the media, people have reason to believe that, but it's through fun that we're able to do serious work. People are completely engaged when they're having fun. And in the last 10 years or so, there's been a lot of research, a lot of books published on using video games. And I think people are more open now into listening to what people have to say about it. And coming from me, I think people already know where I come from, and they're willing to give it a listen. And plus, interactive fiction, compared to other graphics-based game, I think it just looks a bit more serious, a bit more applicable to classroom use, which is an advantage and a disadvantage, because the students, you know, they're used to graphics. They might look at it and say, you know, what is this? This looks boring. But after giving them a go, they get to the end and they say, yeah, this is good. They might not, decide to go home and try it on their own, but at least during class time when they use it, they actually think, I'm learning English here.
Oh,
and how often do they say that in, your average class?
Not so often. You get that kind of response from them. Oh yeah, I'm thinking now about my own class and like going, yeah.
What would they say? Yeah, I think if you manage to reach 2 or 3 students that will go home, download a game, and play by themselves, because that's my main goal. My main goal is for them to get into the genre and to see it as a way to read outside the classroom. If they do that, then mission accomplished.
Something that I found really interesting was, like, in the media, often we have the stereotype that gaming is very antisocial, people are shutting themselves off. But like in your thesis, you're talking about interactive fiction, but also this multi-user virtual environment. So, how can gaming be social, not just the individual with the screen?
That is a stereotype regarding antisocial behavior in video games. Then there is some reason for that. But if we look at most of the games that are played today, the most popular games, they're all multiplayer. They're massively multiplayer online role-playing games, like World of Warcraft. Has 14 million subscribers.
Oh my goodness.
These are people who pay a monthly subscription fee to play this game. And almost the most successful games, Call of Duty, for example, it's the most successful game ever, and the most successful entertainment franchise ever. People buy these games because of the multiplayer component, and a lot of people refuse to play games by themselves these days. So gaming has totally become a social activity. And then if you look at the other spectrum, social games like Farmville, all these games on Facebook, people now see gaming as a social activity. And what people can learn from video games really just gets so much more expanded to include social skills, group management, people skills, and it's incredible how wrong people are when they say that games are antisocial.
Yeah,
And some recent research, there's a book that was recently released a couple of years ago called Reality is Broken, and in this book the author goes on to say that even people who play games by themselves, they're actually becoming better people, and as better people they may then be more willing to open themselves up to be more social. So it's kind of like a stepping stone.
That's really interesting. I'm going to actually look at that book.
It's a very interesting book. I recommend it, yeah.
My last question to you has nothing to do with gaming whatsoever. In the conference program, it's stated that your interests outside of teaching and learning include phonology, schema theory, metacognition, and karaoke. So could you share with us your all-time favorite karaoke number and why it resonates with you?
That actually, it changes every once in a while as I find a new song that fits my my voice and my pitch. But possibly the classic song would probably be "Easy" by Lionel Richie, Faith No More. It's just a song that fits in with my voice, and everybody knows that they can sing along. But when I do go to karaoke parties, I'm always that guy who will try, a song that nobody else does, something recent, but always something a bit more alternative. I never sing Queen or, the more famous stuff. I like songs that have some kind of meaning to me.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
All right.
That was great.
Excellent.
And have a good day today.
I hope I will.
And thank you for joining us.
Okay, thanks for inviting me.
Thank you.